We know this ain't right. Man, this can't be life. We gotta unite.
They might give me 1 hour. If it cuts out without them giving me warning, I will jump back on. I won't be taking any requests for anyone to join in today, simply because it is lesson number 1 and I want to jump into as much information. Pause due to poor connection. I think it's because many people are jumping in. I am Robski's in the building. Everyone. Hi, sweet girl. Hi, Sarita. Hi, sweetheart. I see you. Hi, Sarah. All the lions and lionesses are in the building, right? I'm going to give a couple more moments. If you guys can send out notifications, and we can jump right into this, right? You guys have your notebooks and your pens. Today we're going to do natural law, lesson 1. We're going to know who we are and what happened to us. They do not teach you this at school, right? Because at school, you want to learn so much, but once you get into school, you're told to sit down in a formation by design, shut up, right? And they don't even really answer your questions, right? And they slowly lower your vibrations. So we're going to get started. Let's get into this. Hi, little G. Hi, sweetheart. Okay. Natural law. What happened to us? Who are we? Okay. There was a spiritual treason that went on, guys. They won't, everything I'm describing here, remember, this is you. All the living souls, all the living man, living woman, this is you. And they won't tell you this. And this is the truth. Who are you? Who are we? Who are you? You are a soul. You are the light. You come from the light. Very high vibrations. You are a soul that has a body. Your soul lives in your body. You do not have a soul. You are a soul. Soul. Sun. Let's look at this word. Let's look at what you are, shall we? Soul. Soul. Light. That's what you are, guys. Soul. Sun. Soul. Heal. Hell. They tell you hell is bad because everything these smelly pirates do is inverted. Hell is healer. The sun is the healer. It's hot as hell. What is the sun? In Greek, they have there's different names for it all over the realm. But let's look at it, what it is. Okay, we've got helium and helios. But let's look at this. Helium and hydrogen. Is this what you are? Is this what you are? These are a side note. This is also what is in the sun. Okay, we've got hydrogen, helium, carbon, oxygen, neon, to name a few. But let's look at helium and hydrogen. Helium is the second atomic number in the periodic table. The symbol is He, and its structure is crystalline, just like our sun. Crystal light bodies, right? It is colorless, it is odorless, it is tasteless, it's non-toxic, okay? Helium, the boiling and melting points are the lowest amongst all the elements. And let's look at hydrogen. Hydrogen is the lightest and most abundant, okay? So, that's super lit that we're made up with the most abundant and lightest elements. I also just wanted to throw out there that the speed of light, just the speed of light. And let's talk about gold. What's so special about gold? Gold is an immortal metal. Okay, it does not corrode. Now, when you were born, the doctor in the hospital, maritime jurisdiction. Pirates, smelly pirates who deal with contract and banking. Right? When you were born, they tried to dim, these doctors and hospitals, they tried to dim your shine, lower your natural high vibration and light. Yeah, because you were born under artificial light. Now, I just wanted to say to you, this is natural law here. Black's Law Dictionary, Book of Legal Definitions, and all things legal is fraud, theft, null and void. We'll get to that later. This Black's Law Dictionary creates a second body of the law. So now it's a second body that's been created, man-made, right? Luciferian. Now, natural law, as above, so below. What is the meaning of corona? The Latin meaning of corona is the crown. But corona has several meanings. Okay? The corona is the outer part of the sun. Yeah? And when a baby is being born, they say you can see the crown of the baby's head. It's called the crowning. So when a baby is being born, you're being crowned. Okay? And the sun has plasma. So does your blood. Your blood contains plasma. As above, so below. Now, the etymology of the word halo, right? Circle or halo of light. This is what corona means. Crown, the outer part of the sun, the crowning when a baby's being born, a circle or halo of light, which means a member of a cornice. A cornice is a crown of a building. It's like a top finishing, like a dome on the building. Yeah? Now the etymology, let's look at the etymology of halo. Circle of light round the sun. Nimbus of a saint. Disk of the sun, moon, or a shield. Shall we look at this word nimbus? Nimbus, luminous cloud, halos surrounding a supernatural being. Remember, this is you. All these things I speak of, this is you. Yeah? A nimbus is a bright cloud surrounding a god mist. Halos surrounding a supernatural being. A radiant light in a form of a circle, a halo. Shall we look at this word supernatural? What's the meaning of supernatural? Super plus natura equals nature. So supernatural means nature. Let's look at the word super. On the top of, beyond, besides. And the chief meaning of super is over, above, at the top, which means it's the super altar. It's the celestial. which is a superstructure. Higher in rank, quality, or degree, super essential. Highest, very high degree, in excess. Super abundant. So this is very upful. Did you know this is what you are? This does not mean this. They're trying to hijack your mentals. It's a spiritual treason. Okay? Crown Corporation. And the hijack begins. Yeah, this is Smelly Pirates, maritime law, which is unnatural, who hijacked the language. Side note, Skull and Bones secret societies. Corona also comes from the word coroner, the county coroner. Officer, okay, charged with maintaining the rights of crown property. Officer also holds an inquest into a person who died by accident or violently. Okay? Let's look at this maritime law. Thank you everyone for joining me. We have 51 people in the building already. This is super lit. Maritime law. Law of the sea. Banks, commerce, and contracts. This is what maritime law deals with. Smelly Pirates, Luciferian. Their language from the Black's Law Dictionary sounds like English. Sounds exactly like English, written like English, but it's called legalese. And it's babble, it's fiction, it's dog Latin, it's dead speak. And I'm going to show you how these smelly pirates hijack you at birth. Because law of the sea deals with anything to do with ships and the water. Anything to do with the water. So they created a soul contract, right? Trying to interfere with natural law. Because in the natural law, you have your mother and your father, right? Your mother, the divine feminine, your vessel, portal to source, okay? The waters, where the baby is in the waters. And your father, this is, the semen is the life force. It's the electricity. Because we have we live in an electromagnetic atmosphere. So when your mother and your father came together, your creators, they made a creation, which is all these glorious things I told you about. Yeah? Yeah? And so they created you, which is their sun and their moon, which we know as son and daughter. So they created life, living soul. Yeah? Then maritime law came along, which is a death cult, slave society, maritime law, admiralty maritime law. Because mother, she's a vessel, a ship. Your baby was born from the birth canal. And on the birth certificate, she is not the mother. She is the informant. This is a birth certificate. My son's birth certificate. Now, here, mother and father created the divine masculine and the divine feminine. The masculine is a positive electrical charge, which deals with your currents, force, and energy. The feminine deals with magnetic charge, okay? Which deals with capacity, resistance, and power. Because we are electrical beings, guys. Solar power. So they've inverted and turned something very beautiful. These smelly pirates turned something natural and beautiful into commodities. So your mother is now a vessel. And the baby was born, birthed from her birth canal. Remember, anything with water words deals with banking and contracts and ships. So they turned the mother into a ship. And the father is now, his seaman is now a seaman. Okay. And the baby was birthed to the pair who rents their child to the Crown Corporation, not your parents. Because they have you creating a person, a citizen, which is a straw man, a dead legal fiction, who is known as a male or a female, this is used for animals. When you're saying male or female, this is for animals. Yeah. So, when you're being born, yeah, the soul snatching begins here. At the hospital, the doctors, when the vessel pulls up at the docks, right, and your mother's the ship with the goods, and she will inform. She's the informant. Yeah, that some goods are being manifested. Certificate of manifestation. Yeah. Yeah. So they know this glorious being is coming through. So they need to lower. So you're born under artificial light, which is unnatural. Bearing in mind, before you're born, they make sure the mother is in an unnatural position. She's normally drugged with pharmaceuticals. And pharmaceutical means the makers of poisons and potions. So they've got her drugged out of her brain. Yeah. In an unnatural position, causing distress to herself and the baby. And then they cut the umbilical cord. I'm going to try not to cry. In nature, if a farmer sees someone cutting the lamb's umbilical cord, they will have you. Because they know what you're doing. Cutting the umbilical cord makes the lamb, the baby, partially disabled. It lowers the IQ, lowers immunity, limits their ability, and just makes them very sick, because the genetic codes, all the codes from the placenta that runs through the umbilical cord into the baby, contains all the codes, necessary genetic codes that the baby will need throughout its lifetime. And why they promote cesareans, C-section, is because when the baby is coming through the canal, when it's scraping along the walls, it's getting all the cells, all the necessary things that it needs to be healthy. Instead, it gives the baby vaccines, right? It takes the baby away from the mother straight away, so there's no first contact. And they take the blood and the footprint and the DNA, where they now start to create a soul contract. Yeah. And when they cut the cord, it lowers the IQ. Many people don't even know what IQ means. It's intelligence quotient, the measure of reasoning ability. And the average IQ is now 85 to 115. If you have 110 to 120, you're super intelligent. 120 to 140, very super intelligent. Remember what I told you about the word super? Above 140, near genius or genius. Genius comes from the word genes, genie, genuine, generous, genetics. Okay. So when you're born, they hijack you, and your parents register you, and a birth certificate is created, which is actually your death certificate. And so now you're cloned, owned, a straw man, a dead legal fiction, lost at sea, with no consciousness, illiterate, ward of the court, mental patient, slave, dead, lost at sea. This is what they have you classed as. Yeah? See everyone jumping in. We've now got 60 people in the building. Thank you so much. I hope everyone is okay listening to that. I did do a live covering this extensively. What they also don't tell you is a 3-day rule. 3 days to refuse a contract. It's called a 72-hour rule. They told you in the books, Jesus, who, this is a character, right? But Jesus, they told you, in plain sight, rose from the dead after 3 days. The county coroner, remember I told you, coroner is in charge with maintaining the rights of the crown property, which is you, because as soon as you register something, you give it away to the Crown Corporation. And I will cover this. So the county coroner, they know that if a body is left uncontaminated when they die, after 3 days, they have the ability to come back. Yeah? Because when a body is in trauma, the breathing goes down to 5 to 6 breaths per minute, which will be missed by some untrained eye. Right? So these smelly pirates who create religion, so when your loved ones pass away or are in a coma, which is the body's natural defense, you have 72 hours for your soul to make a decision if it wants to power this body. Right? So when your loved ones die, they say they want the body straight away, straight to the morgue, because they need to do organ harvesting. Because in those 3 days, you are still technically alive, but appear to be dead, because you're only breathing 5 to 6 breaths per minute. Because if we're owned by the Crown Corporation, by them, the Vatican, they claim they own your soul. They own every animal, plant, minerals, including the minerals inside your body. So if they own you, in their sick minds, you are their property. And because your parents registered you with this birth certificate and created a straw man, which is legal name fraud, they can do whatever they want with you. Research, experiment, eat you, whatever they wish. Because it's Crown copyrighted. Yeah. So they don't let you know this. Because they need to harvest. You cannot harvest life force from a dead body. Okay? Yeah. And what takes place is the occult art of law. Occult means hidden. And when you were born, a trust was created. It's called the SESKV Act 1666. Right? Your birth certificate and the legal name fraud. Because when you were born, you had a birth certificate and it says right here, Crown copyrighted. Warning, a certificate is not evidence of identity. Yeah. So it's Crown copyrighted. So they own this name. And they've cloned you and gave you a straw man, which is dead, lost at sea. Yeah. And this straw man is a person, which in Black's Law Dictionary is a sea monster. It's a legal fiction who is liable. Yeah. Let's look at the word person. Person is a persona. Yeah. A subject and a citizen is a slave. Slave is the same thing as an actor. Because a person has a persona. Persona is like an actor. You wear your mask. Yeah? Let's look at this word citizen. Let's look at the etymology of citizen. It comes from the word city, which is a town of, I can't say this word very good, ecclesia, I can't say it, but it means church. Okay, it means church. And church is another word for a bank. Okay? Ecclesiastical. Yeah, something like that. Yeah? Now, this dead legal fiction, the straw man, the name is written in all caps, all capital letters, like on a gravestone. If you pull out your ID card, your driving license, your bank card, and look at it, you will see it's all written in capital letters. Sometimes you get a letter with this shit in there. Mr., Mrs., Miss. These are military titles. Lowest military titles, which makes you open for tax. They always have the dead straw man writing in black ink in all capitals, to signify that you are dead. The blue ink keeps you in maritime law, the law of the sea. Yeah. And the red ink signifies you're a living man or woman. Yeah. And when they get you to sign actually means you're sinning. So you see this X, when they say sign here, sin here, this X represents them transferring your consciousness, because you are a conscious living being, soul, and transferring it onto a piece of paper. And paper feels very dry, like straw. Like a straw man, very 2D. Just a 2D paper. So this says KHUV Act 1666. It pretty much is happened during the Black Plague and the Great Fire of London, where all men and women were declared dead, lost at sea, beyond the seas. Yeah. So we need to show proof of life. Because once they've started doing this birth certificate, it is now called genocide by pen. Dead man walking. The Walking Dead. Zombies. Right? Because no money has been backed by gold, silver, or any precious metals since the 1930s. And it's all in plain sight. The birth certificate and the legal name fraud. Because they told you right here, they warned you. They warned you. It's also on bonded paper. Yeah, it's bonded. Which is another word for bondage. Bonded in slavery. Let's look at this word regis. Regis means of the king, ruler, kingly. The name usually recalls the historical ownership of lands or manors by the crown. French, regis, to rule or to manage. Register, register. So whatever you register, which is your car and everything, you register everything, your business, your children, right? You register their birth. You're giving up whatever you're registering to the Crown Corporation for them to look after you, and they're going to give you terms and conditions. And if you don't follow the terms and conditions, there'll be consequences. They can fine you. They can take you to court. Summoning's the dead. Summoning up the dead. Right? So when you register something, you say, yeah, I'm going to give away everything I have to you. I'm giving up all my rights, and I'm giving you power of attorney, which means whatever you decide for me and tell me to do, I will do everything you tell me to do. And if I don't do as you tell me, I'll pay all the consequences and I'll be liable for everything. Yeah. Because they have you dead, lost at sea, unconscious, a mental patient, a ward of the court, illiterate. This is what a straw man is. Not me, don't shoot the messenger. Yeah. Thank you everyone for joining. Let me just quickly look at the comments. So I've been chatting for about nearly 40 minutes now. Let's look at the comments real quick. I'll give you a second to digest. So many comments, guys. All right. Okay. All right, guys, there's just so many comments. I can't physically get through them all. They might have me on a timer. We've got about 20 minutes. If they do cut me off, guys, I will jump back on again. Yeah. We're going to learn a lot today. So Parliament, when they made this SK2V Act, right? Parliament enacted an act behind closed doors. These are actors. Yeah, they're fake. Yeah. Now, dead lost at sea. Register. Birth certificate is Crown copyrighted, as I've shown you right here. Yeah. And it says, warning, a certificate is not evidence of identity. I've shown you this. Yeah. Yeah. So this is birth certificate fraud. No permission was given by the Crown Corporation for you to use the copyrighted name, right? Which means you're doing, every time you're saying this is who you are, which you're not, the straw man, you're doing copyright infringement, or fraud, and a liar. So this birth certificate, what do you obtain with this birth certificate? Well, everything. Your passport, driving license, bank accounts, health care, school, yeah? All these things. Business, all these things. So everything you register, you give away to the Crown Corporation. So you've given away all these things here. Your business, your children, yeah? Let's look at the word submit. Submit means to bend to another's will. Right? An application is a lie. You're just lying. And it also means you're a beggar. Yeah, when you're applying for a job, it's a beggar who's giving up all your rights. And bond, which this is what this is, a bond, is another word for bondage, which is another word for contract. Soul contract. Remember, they took the soles of your feet, the print of the soles of your feet and your blood, signed it in blood. That was your contract when you were born. Before you even knew anything, they made a contract with you. Straight from the cosmos, and they contracted with you. Yeah? Drugged up your mother, told your father he's this. Yeah? Yeah. So basically, your parents, the pair who rents you to the Crown Corporation, right? And yeah, they made a contract. They gave you away and made a contract. They've got a contract. Their parents gave them away, so they're in contract with each other, right? So here comes you, and you're just caught in this contract now, which is all null and void, because this is all done by deception. Because a corporation cannot make a contract with a living soul. This is why they need to create a birth certificate to make you dead. Then they create a corporation, and you have a trust, and everything is prepaid from this trust. Because when they took away all the gold, because no money has been backed by gold, right? No money has been backed by gold. So when they took it all away, everything has been paid every 90 days. Everything is zeroed and paid. So when they're sending you a bill, they're double and triple dipping. Yeah? So when you submit an application to register, right, and you sign, sinning, right, and then now you're transferring your consciousness to the 2D paper, right, you're voluntarily giving up all your rights, yeah, and you're saying you want to do contract, and that you will do as you're told, and you will take all the liabilities, and you'll give them your sign of nature, which is fiction, because living man and woman is a fact. So we do autographs, which is autonomous, because they're having you speak babble in fiction all day long. They have you speaking and writing, Babylon fiction all day long, right? So, yeah. So now you've voluntarily given up your rights. I would suggest to go onto YouTube and watch The Nature of the Cage, the channel The Nature of the Cage. There's a post called Straw Man. There's also another post on YouTube called Meet Your Straw Man and the Truth About Your Birth Certificate. This will be a must watch, guys. Real interesting eye-openers. And it's illegal to use a legal name, and all contracts are null and void. Because in order to make a contract, well, like I stated, a corporation cannot make contract with a living man, right? And you don't own that name. Yeah? So this is already a deception. It's built on fraud, which makes it null and void. And there should always be two signatures. So when you look at your mortgage contracts and these utility contracts that you have, there's always one signature there, not two. There's no full disclosure, and there's no equal consideration for both parties, which makes everything null and void. Now, they're going to continue doing this until you rebut it, because these ones here do the occult art of law, which means it's hidden, all in plain sight. So if you can't see straight off the bat that this is copyrighted and they've given you a warning, and you've started opening bank accounts in this name, getting license, all these things, they're coming after you. You can't be taking someone else's copyrighted stuff and making profit and things off that. How long do you think before they come and grab you and say, yo, that's my things. We're doing copyright infringement. You're doing copyright infringement. Not too long. They're going to come straight after you. Straight after you. Fine you, take you to court, throw you to jail, anything they want. So now they've got you as a person, a citizen of fiction. A person is a legal fiction who is liable, written in all caps, like on a gravestone, right? And so what they're doing is implied right of consent, right? This means they treat you in a manner that you consent to unless you've rebutted, right? So this means you're acting like you consent, giving your name and things like that. They want your name. That's not your name. They want to catch you out as a liar, do copyright infringement and charge you for that. Because it's illegal to use a legal name. This is the master key every single time. Yeah? There's no lawful consent. I do not consent. And I am not a name. Because they're like, what's your name? What's your name? They're looking to see if you're a dead, acting like dead, babbling some fiction name, or if you're going to really be on your feet, and they're going to leave straight away. If they go, what's your name? And if you reply, what makes you think I have one of those? Now what have you just done? You're asking. Asking means you're as king. Asking a question on a quest. A dead straw man doesn't ask no questions, right? They're dead. So now you're acting as royalty here, right? Because they're going to be like, what's your name? Where do you live? Well, you're a living soul. You live in your body, not a physical address. And most importantly, you're not obligated or obliged to answer any questions. Because you're a living man and a living woman. You're a living soul. So when they're asking you for your name, your address, your date of birth, they're trying to access the information to your bonds account. This account right? And from what I can understand, I know for the UK, I think each citizen, when you're born, you inherit about £2 million and 4 Twickenham size, stadium size of land each, and that's all in the treasury. Yeah, because you're from creation. You're from the Creator. You're divine creation, right? So the earth, this is your inheritance, but they take it all. They take everything. Yeah, tax is voluntary. So everything, the water, gas, everything is prepaid from your treasury account every 90 days. All debts is zeroed and settled every 90 days. So when they send you a bill, tell them, prove to me this has not been paid and prove to me I am dead. Yeah, because you're a living soul. They're treating you as dead now, can't think. Yeah, you don't have an autograph. You're not, autograph means autonomous thinking. Yeah. So tax is voluntary, and when they summons you to court, it's an invitation to watch actors acting on acts. Yeah. Yeah. So when you're voting, signing with an X, it's giving away your rights, your power of attorney. It's saying you're a mental outpatient, you're illiterate, you're incompetent. So these cities, remember what I told you about cities? Citizens comes from cities, which is a bank, which is a church. Same. This one, Vatican, London, Washington. These are all the same banks. Right. There's these laws here. The Uniform Commercial Code, very low, very death cult. Yeah, low, very low. Canon law, Holy See, Vatican, very low. And then the Babylonian Talmud, yeah. This is what's British Empire Admiralty law. Yeah. So, two years ago I did this, the Matrix cheat code. You can Google this, legal name fraud, and it will tell you. It will tell you, hang on, let me see if I have it on my poster that I created. Yes, I do. Right here for one of my sons. Here, look. Warning, they don't want you to know this. Google this now. Does the Vatican own your birth certificate? You can Google that. Does the Vatican own your soul? Very disturbing. What is legal name fraud? When your parents registered your birth on the certificate, it insists they unknowingly gave the Crown Corporation ownership of your name. Simply thus, all legal names are owned by the Crown, and therefore using a legal name without their written permission is fraud. Yeah. Unum sanctum. The nature of the cage. Straw man. So it's Crown copyrighted. Regis means Crown Corporation. Register. All the words will always tell you. It would be handy, guys, to get a book on etymology. Breaks down the words. Yeah. And Black's Law. This shows you that money, Black's Law Dictionary, shows you money has not been backed by gold. You can Google that up as well. They took all of that. So when they took everything away, it's the government's. They have to do everything. Yeah, but the problem is we gave them too much power. Shout outs to like the 70 people in this building now. I appreciate you all so much. Right, so it's really important to know that you don't own your name. It's owned and copyrighted by the Crown Corporation. So if you're rocking into court and they're like, what's your name? And you're saying that's your name, they're like, huh, liar. That's not your name. You don't own that. You're a liar. Oh, you're a person, a citizen? Ooh, okay. That means you're dead, lost at sea. You're a bonded slave. In their world, this is what it is. Right? Yeah. So, yeah, they've got you really under a spell. They're spell casting you. They're keeping you on a slave ship. It's a slave ship. Yeah, with your relationships and your friendships, citizenship. They keep you in hardship. Work for your scholarships, sponsorships. You have to worship, championships. And if they don't like you, censorships. That's how they get us. Birth certificates. But if we keep claiming to be a citizen, they own us. Please don't go around saying you're a citizen. You must say you're a living man and a living woman. Okay? You're a living soul, a multi-dimensional being. You're real, you're living, you're private, you're lawful, right? De jure, natural law, universal law, which reigns supreme. Yeah, and we're not going to say this word sovereign anymore because sovereign means super anus. It sure does. So we don't say this anymore. We're just living souls, living man, living woman. So here we go. Taxes voluntary. You're not obligated to answer any questions. What is your name? I'm not obliged to answer any questions. I don't answer questions. I have no name here. What makes you think I have one of those? You know? Yeah? I'm a living soul. I live in my body, in my vessel, not in a physical address. So now they know you know what you are. They don't want you to know you're a glorious living soul. They want you to think you're a meat suit, a slave, a citizen, babbling all day. Tax statements is not a bill because you don't pay your bank statements, do you? So when you look at this tax bill, it says tax statement, yeah, which is voluntary. And all the utilities are prepaid. And the bills are sent to your straw man, yeah, which I send that poison back straight away, poison pen straight away, stating, please contact the legal owner of the Crown copyrighted name in the envelope. Yeah? Because corporations are dead entities. Yeah? Here is how else they keep you in the maritime law. They keep you drowning in debt with your cash flows and your loan sharks, your liquid assets, staying afloat, currencies, frozen bank accounts. Yeah. So it's a lot of babbling going on. So we must know who we are. We have to call and claim back all our power. Please do look into the things that I have spoken to you about. I did cover the hidden knowledge. I have a live called Hidden Knowledge Part 1 and Part 2. You might want to watch that because I'm going to be covering that in our next lesson. What I'm going to do is in terms of information, I'm going to leave it at that today because it was a lot to take in. Because they don't tell you who and what you are. You don't know what you speak. I want you guys to catch up. And there's going to be many questions like, how do I undo the straw man and all that, guys? All of these things I speak to you about has many components and many layers. Yeah? And it's a process. Okay? And as we start to learn and go on to the journey and start to know the words that we speak, start to identify what is natural and unnatural. For example, in nature, I was telling you about if a farmer saw you cut the umbilical cord of this lamb, they know that you're making this lamb partially disabled. In nature, if you try to approach a lion cub, a hippo cub, a baby, the animal will not let you come near the baby. It will protect its baby at all costs. It will kill you. That's called the law of nature. So when they're disabling our babies by cutting the umbilical cord, born under artificial light, smacking you to lower your vibrations. Yeah. All by design, taking your blood. This is unnatural that we don't react, that we don't protect our young. Guys, I have 1 minute and 37 seconds remaining. What I will do is I'll come back on in case anyone has any questions and we can tie this up. I love you all so much. We'll tie this up nicely. Yeah. They wouldn't let me see, strap me down. I had to fight. Me too, I had to fight as well. They tried to give me a cesarean. Yeah. We have to call and claim back our power. We need to write to the hospitals, make sure that the doctor never cuts any more cords of any more babies. Yeah. We must protect our children and humanity at all costs.